Feeling the rhythm? Well, there's a plain white tees and Mike Barrett joining us. We mentioned good policies. It is
happy first day. Don't you love the first snow of summer? I love
do.
the first snow of summer.
I do. Well, one of our clients is saying Vermont's 5th season is about to start in again.
Yeah.
No, we have 6 now. We have another winter.
So when you have late like August and on September and October warmth, you call that an Indian summer? Do you call this an Eskimo winter or an Eskimo spring, or what do you call it?
I call it crazy.
I don't know.
Just real quick here, horrible thing happened on Linden Institute over the weekend. My goodness.
Yeah.
I don't have
You were
more.
telling me about that.
I don't have any more details than the short read that we have, but they had a roof collapse up at the school, and it fortunately was on the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody was in the classroom. I guess it's pretty bad.
Thank goodness that there was nobody injured there. Absolutely.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
hopefully, get the folks in there, take a look around, get it cleaned up, and see what the structural integrity is, and get her done.
And get to graduation.
Could have been 2 weeks from now that it did that, and it would have been okay, right? Aren't they almost done?
All right, so we come together here on our Tuesday mornings at this time. We talk about good insurance policies. Where do you want to start today?
Something that I thought about, and we've talked about. We're always going to rehash stuff that we talked about. It's just the nature of the business. There is a fairly infinite amount of things to discuss here, but we're not going to get into the boring stuff. Well, some of it's boring, sorry. But anyway,
Unless you
before
don't
I back
want to
myself
lose.
into a corner, I'll just tell you what I'm thinking about. So, home valuations.
Okay.
All right. So, what coverage you should have for insuring your home?
Now, let me ask you here. I want to make sure I heard this right. Did you say home valuations or evaluations?
Valuations.
Okay, so
evaluation would be us coming around, or an inspector coming around to make sure the house is appropriate and the insurance company won't have any problems putting coverage on it or keeping coverage on it, depending on how that occurs. But evaluation is something that we do for every property that we write insurance for. So if you come to me and say, hey, I'm looking to buy this house, I'll say, great, what's the property? What's the address? And there's many ways that I can find out. I can look at the MLS listing, which I don't always want to do just the MLS listing. Let's be honest, the square footage allotment in a real estate listing can look more favorable than maybe it really is. I'm not that they're lying, but they factor square footage different than I would.
Okay, well,
meaning like square footage of living area in a basement, they're going to count that as total square footage. I'm going to factor that differently when I work up a valuation to insure your home. So that does have a little bit of a variance. But the most common way that we do it is we'll actually go physically to the property and we'll measure it out, take some notes, get an idea, an assessment of what you have for utilities. What kind of heat do you have? Do you have radiant heat? Do you have radiator heat? Do you have forced hot air? Do you have baseboard hot water? Do you have oil? Do you have propane? Do you have air conditioning? Do you have central vac? Do you have
pellet stove and
pellet
wood?
stove, wood furnace? Everything like that's considered. How's the house built? Is it a frame built structure? Is it pole built? Is it post and beam? What's the siding? Is it vinyl? Is it clapboard? Is it wood? I mean, it goes on and on and on. So there's so many variables that we calculate that data, and then of course we calculate a square footage. And the biggest thing that I get, especially lately, is when I come back and say, here's the quote, and they go, whoa, I don't want to insure for that. I want to insure for this. And they're usually wanting to go for maybe the listing price.
Right.
And or if not the listing price, maybe the appraisal that the bank came back with through the mortgage process. If not that, maybe another type of appraisal that occurred on the home. Those are different ways of calculating, which don't necessarily jive with mine. You have a thought?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I have a question here. Does that mean, you said that you've come across this a bunch lately, does that mean that it more often the valuation is higher than what the prospective homeowner was thinking? That's why they want to go lower.
Why are more people buying homes versus building homes? More people are buying homes because the purchase price for a home per square foot can range anywhere from the low end of $70 a square foot to maybe $135, $140, $150 a square foot to purchase a home. So now think of the variance of cost per square foot to build. Typically starts at $135, works its way up to in excess of $200. If you have a log home, we could be upwards of closer to $300 per square foot.
Wow.
So, there could be a vast discrepancy between what I'm quoting and what you're paying. And that initially can be a shock to somebody. Go, well, God, I never in a million years thought that that's what it would take. And I've had conversations with people saying, look, yes, you can buy this home today for that price, because that is a market value based on current situations and based on comparable properties, same land size, similar bathroom count, similar construction. But what would it cost stick by stick, brick by brick to rebuild this house? Do you
Because
have a
that's the way-
builder's grade bathroom, or do you have a custom bathroom? Do you have a custom shower? Do you have ceramic floor, porcelain tile, hardwood floor, laminate, vinyl, carpet? So many things at play. Do you have an attached garage? Do you have an attached porch, attached deck? These are all things that we're working on, and we actually use industry standard systems to come up with these valuations. And some companies, will use one. The industry standard is typically Marshall, Swift, and Beck for most companies. Some have proprietary. So sometimes, and that's what makes it even more challenging for us, is that we only have to insure it for 100% of whatever the company's determined valuation system is saying. And it can vary ever so slightly from company to company.
So maybe the take from this, and this is why I'm asking again, is so you can head me in the right direction, our listeners too. So let's say Joan and Robert are buying a home, and it's on the market for $140,000. And now that's the market value.
Market value.
You valuate it for, I'm assuming
Do a
that's the right
replacement
word.
cost estimate. Yep.
Okay. It's going to be $240,000.
Could be.
Because they have to build it.
Right.
Using your description headed in.
In a bank valuation, a town valuation for tax purposes, a market value, they take into consideration so many things. Among them is, of course, looking at comparable properties, which could account for some level of not depreciation, but certainly not the same value as we're looking at. When it comes to insuring your home, we're not going to go and try to find used materials to rebuild the house. We're going out and buying brand new everything, hiring contractors, and rebuilding your house. And the purpose of a traditional homeowner policy, yes, it's there to cover you for partial losses of many types and kinds, whether it be personal property or a small part of the building that has damage, like a leaky roof or a collapsed porch or a small kitchen fire. But the ultimate purpose, the end all for this policy, is to rebuild the home at the time of a total loss. And failure to have an appropriate limit for that can be devastating.
Right. I mean, they're not going to pick you up and move the family to St. Johnsbury if you live in East Burke, because that house costs the same as what yours did when you bought it.
Right.
I get it now. Okay.
So we're not looking, we don't care what any property compares to your property. We're looking at your property and what an appropriate estimate. And that's why we always stress the word estimate. I mean, there's always a margin of error. I mean, we're all humans. So there's always an interpretive value to some degree, but most people in my industry will agree that an average cost per square foot to build a home, once you look at all the tradesmen, so you got the carpenters, you got the electricians, you got the plumbers, you're looking at about $160 a square foot typical.
Okay.
Not a guarantee, but typical.
That's the average. So valuation, evaluation.
Oh, it's a lot.
Well, it's like we say. I mean, it's important to have the conversation with your agent.
Right.
So.
And there are times where I look at properties that they're grossly underinsured. There's also times I look at properties that maybe for any reason, a number of reasons, they've been into the same company for 5 years or more, maybe 10 years or more, and they could be overinsured. So it's a good metric to use, and making sure that you're insured to value is really a key thing should a total loss ever occur.
So a quick call with a conversation or stopping into the office with your insurance agent is key. Tell them how they can do that.
Yeah, sure. So we're Barrett Insurance Agency located on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury. You can find us online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube's All Barrett Insurance Agency, or just give us a buzz, 748-5224.
All right, Mike, thanks an awful lot. Hope you have a good day. By the way, did Mom have a good Mother's Day?
Yes.
I'm talking about your wife.
My wife, yes.
Yes.
She had a wonderful Mother's Day.
I'm glad you guys had a great day.
Funny story, I bought her a $50 TJ Maxx gift card at Price Chopper.
Yep.
Put it in the back of my truck so I could put my son in the truck. The wind gust came, blew it away, and I have no it. So if somebody finds a TJ Maxx gift card at Price Chopper, have at it. $50 for you.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. We'll see you next week. All right. Music from Vermont's own Grace Potter and the Nocturnals coming.